So, once again, let's have a look at some of your games because you have done some brilliant work. Okay, but at the same time, of course, I will have to be nasty as because there is a regularly recurring mistake that will be seen in this game right away that we still keep on doing. Actually, do you know what? I want you to point out yourself where you think you played something that shouldn't have been played. So I'm going to go slow.
Right.
I assume that so far you are happy with your play, because I am. Okay, so there's definitely a retake here, knight there, take there. Yep.
Yeah, this was maybe a risk because you could also take the queen. I was hoping to be able to play e4.
Okay, so what do you think is the correct recapture in this position for black?
Queen. I'm not sure.
What would make you believe the queen rather than the pawn?
Yeah.
I suppose we both agree that knight takes was really appalling, right?
Yep.
Okay, so pawn takes is the obvious recapture because that keeps the black pawn in the center and soon there will be another one to follow. So black is actually fighting for the center. The only reason why queen takes is actually acceptable in this position is because I can't kick you out. Because my knight is already gone. And you still have a chance to combat my center with c5, knight c6 and eventually e5. Now what we have here, Philip, is what is my mania that we call tension. And what this does is that it releases tension. What it also does is that it swaps this for that, central for non-central, and it opens up the bishop's diagonal. So that's a total waste of a move, and that's so often in your games it actually turned out to be brilliant because your opponent responded even worse by taking with the knight. Now, when you played e4, did you see that this was hanging? I don't mean to be a douche here, but I don't want to credit you for something you don't deserve, but at the same time I do want to credit you if you actually saw the trap.
No.
Okay, so
as soon as I played e4, I was...
Right, so it was a brilliance that turned out to be a brilliance later on when you figured out that queen c2 trapped the knight.
Yeah, I saw it after he played knight.
I do appreciate your honesty, Philip. I think that you learned the lesson without me even commenting on it because it must have felt very awkward when you played e4 that, oh shoot, that's hanging. So 2 lessons learned. 1, you need to check your opponent's knight jumps before you make your move. Number 2, that this is actually a legitimate trap that you find in these openings when the knight begins to wander around on the board, especially within your territory, that they often get hurt. And the rest was a mop-up. Okay. This one was actually an interesting game. Like, I've struggled with pointing out where exactly it went out of your hands. Well, for starters, I suppose you suspect there is something coming at you.
Yep.
Because of that. So, correct move, of course, would have been what here, Philip? Actually, there are a fair few, but let's just name a few decent-looking developing moves for the sake of practicing them instead of the preferred release tension. You are well aware of the fact, I'm hoping, yes, that this capture is totally not happening. Because worst comes to worst, you can always check it back, but of course e4 followed by bishop takes the pawn is 10 times better. Right, so yes, of course, bishop g5. And then e3, and then bishop takes, and you never touch this unless you win half of the board. Okay, your opponent is being a genius by doing that, so thank him for that. I'd really like this move and the concept behind it, which is to stop them from castling. Alright, c6. I was thinking about being a bit more aggro and put this bishop here. But I don't find anything wrong, or potentially even on c4 supporting d5 later on. But it's okay. Bishop e2 castles, bishop f6. I would have liked to see how your opponent responds to rook b1. Okay. Because it's a bit of an annoying move, hanging that pawn. If the rook moves, then they can't castle that way anymore. So this is definitely an improvement for you if you have this in. Sometimes you find that your rook comes up on the 5th and covers squares. It's odd. And also, now after d5, if they were to take here, it's not going to be a tempo. So there are lots of benefits to it and no negatives. Okay, d5, take, back. Now the other thing I was thinking about here is that we should really not care about this pawn.
Yeah.
And instead focus on trying to break him while he's still in the middle. So I was looking at this move. I don't know what the computer would say. But my general idea is always to try to crack things open when the king is still stuck in the middle. So if they take, then queen takes back, and now we are already hitting here.
Yes.
If they take here, I totally don't care. Like, I wasn't even looking at that move when I took on here, because it just gives me another tempo and then another.
Yep.
And they still can't castle because I have got this glorious pressure on the e7 knight.
Yep.
So that would have been potentially an option here. Queen c2 is a bit too passive, and I'm hoping, again, relying on your honesty, that you saw that this one was hanging.
Yep, I did actually.
Good. So what's the plan in case they take it?
I wasn't sure what to do here. I wanted to get my rook out of the sort of skewering.
Well, then why did you only put it here or here? Because even here, rook b1 is a brilliant move. Oh, well, it's not a brilliant move, but it's a brilliant way to get out of this trouble.
It's better.
Yeah,
better.
Far better. In fact, I was considering this very seriously. Because in this position, you would love to see an exchange sack like that when there are this many horrifically weakened dark squares. Like if he castles there, something like queen, probably just here, let's be humble, followed by bishop back, grants you huge counterplay on the dark squares. Actually, you can regain the exchange immediately by coming here, because if they don't play knight f5 here, but something like this, then they get mated now down there.
Right.
So they actually have to come here, but I'm wrong because it's not even losing the exchange back, because after queen takes queen, they can retake that way. Yeah, anyhow, this exchange sacrifice would have been a legitimate concept too. Castles, rook d1, rook e8. And actually, here he started to play quite decent moves. Like, b6 is really good. And again, I would like to see some sort of aggression, Philip, happening, because your pieces seem to have achieved their maximum potential. I mean, technically you can improve the knight, and this looks to me like a good move. Okay, floating ideas like knight c6, when the knight can't take because pawn takes... exploits this pin here. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay. And in general, it just ends here really good. The other thing, as I said, is d6. I really like this move because after takes, rook takes, we pressure both of the bishops a great deal. Yeah. So this is hanging, and wherever it goes, I'm going to pin the other one hardcore. Okay, so this was your moment to strike or to find a move that is meaningfully improving your position. Like here you even have knight e6 next move, which is really just a cheapo, but I wanted to show you the power of this potential pin. So that if they take, you take back with the pawn, and then you regain the bishop on d7 under very heavily favorable circumstances. Okay, bishop d3, that was, yeah, I don't know where we are going with that because you can't crack this.
Yeah, so again, bad plan, but the plan was, I think, to run the 8th pawn now.
Yeah, the problem is that even then, I don't see how you will be able to crack me there, not to mention the fact that you shouldn't really get there, but that's another story altogether. Knight c8, I would have preferred something like knight f5, because we prefer to move our chess pieces forward, not backwards. Yeah, this was getting carried away hardcore, Philip, but on the flip side, I do give you credit for being ballsy. I like attacking chess. Okay?
I think actually a sack might have worked here.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was about to say. And in that spirit, you should have tried this. I don't believe in it. I positively think that you are borderline losing here. But that is not to say that you shouldn't have done it, because you are going to reverse in any case anyway, and the likelihood that your opponent would find a move like this, which I believe is the strongest response, is very low.
Right.
It's not a cheapo. It's probably what I would call the lesser evil, because even if you don't do it, the same move will hit you like it did, I think, a couple of moves later. See, so he built up on that dark squared concept. So you might as well could have taken this and just see how they respond. Just taking immediately leads to a mate. Queen takes king to the corner, check, and it's game.
I seriously considered it, but yeah.
And the other thing is that, just so that we are on the same page with this, that once you take, and I just play a lemon move to show you the motive, you actually do have a threat here by taking this.
Yep.
And after king takes queen check, the king has to move forward, and then this is not gonna be pretty when this king is already out here. I'm willing to bet quite a bit of money that it's gonna be a spectacular checkmate.
Yep.
Yay! Wow.
Sure.
Yeah, we are getting there. So once you see that, you go like, yeah, that's my way. F3, yeah. Now we are full of holes. I don't like really the swap of the dark squared bishops either, because look at this, Philip.
This was a misplay actually.
You mean you wanted to drop it back here?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, that actually makes quite a bit of sense, because on a3 your bishop is definitely out of play, whereas after bishop b2, now it is just a horrific scenario where your position is full of weak dark squares, the pawns are all on white, it is ugly as sin. And I think the rest was a mop-up. Oh, it's actually not quite. On the contrary.
Here, right here, I blundered, taking the pawn.
Okay, so I just would like to have a look at where your opponent went wrong here. Well, for starters, I don't know why they play. Oh, okay, so he defended the mate, bishop e4, rook e8, queen across.
Here I should have gone queen back, I think. Somewhere here.
Oh, yes. Bring it on, baby.
Yeah, right there. Yes, this is losing completely for him.
Yeah, renewing the thread on the long diagonal. This is what we call in chess composition a switchback, when you go to a square and then the next move you do turn, because now it has a different effect.
Okay.
Very clever stuff.
I went for this. I went for the same thing, but in the way I went at it, he had a defense. He would not have had.
I don't understand what's happening here, Philip.
I shouldn't have taken back.
Oh, well, no, not at all. You should have taken it back. Why wouldn't you come here?
Right.
This queen is
Konski.
Yeah. In a totally winning position, you just blundered into mate in one. After rook g2, rook f3, rook takes, queen takes, and rook f2. Bang.
Yeah.
Rip.
I was either low on time or got really excited about the queen pin. I can't remember which.
or the combination of the above. Okay, fair enough. Now here comes the credit fest, because this game was actually brilliant. I would really enjoy this. The only comment I would like to make is that if you want to regain your pawn here, you need to play b3 at one stage. Okay, so you either take and b3 or b3. The idea is that if they take, you take this guy, and now this is doomed to death.
Right.
So if they retake, you go check, bishop here, and you retake this one too, and thereby you recover the material in a heavily favorable position.
Okay.
Okay, because if you don't do this, then you will lose that chance of regaining the pawn, and then trouble begins. Okay, here. This is really good chess here, Philip. Like, I love seeing this. This is how this opening is generally played. H6 back. There. Queen c2, very good chess. Although here, I'm a bit concerned about this.
Alright.
Okay, so we might need to figure out a way to handle that, which is going to be difficult. Potentially we could play e5 followed by knight in, but I don't like to block in my own bishop.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bit tricky. A bit tricky here.
It always does seem like that if I play e4.
No, it shouldn't happen like that, and actually from here on it turned out beautifully for you. But yeah, in this position I'm afraid that we needed to make some adjustments to the position to make sure that we don't lose these dudes.
Yeah.
Or if we do, then we do get something back in return. Take here, knight d4 is another motive, but it may be powerless now. Or even e5. I'm concerned about this. You have some sort of compensation still with these active pieces, but yeah, I'm not 100% convinced. On the other hand, now, it was just top job. Queen d4 lost the game for them already. But they already have a few loose pawns here and there that they need to watch out for. So there was a bit of pressure on them. And it's like, ta-da! Queen is hanging, knight c7 is coming, get out of my game.
Yeah.
Top job. And then he decided to ditch the queen. Good. Okay.
Yeah.
On the other hand, this one was a bit of a pain fest.
Yes.
Okay. Can you please tell me what you think about this move?
It looks terrible.
Okay. Very good. Why?
Probably I should not ignore it though. I'm not sure. Like my initial reaction was just, this seems like a bad move. I'm gonna ignore it completely.
And that's perfectly fine. That's what you should do. But I'm still waiting for you to tell me why this is a junk move. Other than the basics of not developing and not doing anything for the center, it actually, like, I could play moves here like this that are bad because not developing and not controlling the center, but it actually does not inflict damage on the white army. This is positively hurting white. So what is it that is so bad about this move?
Aside from the fact that they're weakening, like, what is it, b4?
No, that's all I was after. So now if you look at white's position, it's full of holes. Okay? Yeah. It's consistently stupid. Okay, that's why consistency is not necessarily a good thing in chess, because if you consistently put all your pawns on white like this, then your position will be consistently, completely, utterly useless. Okay, knight f6, beautiful move. d3. Now please tell me, Philip, what you should have done here.
I wanted to play d5, but I didn't.
Did you say e5 or d5?
d5. I wanted to, but I
I'm glad you didn't, and I don't know why you want to do this. You have already moved that pawn, Philip. Why would you move it again?
No, sorry.
D5.
Yeah.
Okay, why didn't you do it?
I should have.
Because remember our very beloved axiom of let's play chess in the center.
Right.
Yes, you really should have. Okay, especially because any kind of take that happens here from white is going to make it worse for them. That's again the axiom of releasing tension, because if they do that now, they release our bishop. And if they take again, then now they just created for themselves a backward, isolated, useless pawn.
I think I miscalculated it. I thought there were too many defenders.
You are right. There are too many defenders, so no worries. What you wanted to say is that there were too many attackers. Not the case. No.
Yeah.
Okay, bishop e7, bishop e3. Guess what we should do here? Sorry, hate to rub it in. D5. But of course, if you believe that it was too many, then the bishop moves wouldn't have changed that assessment. And then here comes the icing on the cake. So this is where I would have laughed up. Like, really, dude? Okay, it is a little bit awkward because g5 is pending.
Yes.
Okay, this also announces that he wants to attack you on this side of the board. So from here on, we are not moving anything on this side of the board, especially not pawns, because that will make it easier for him to crack it open. Okay, and now for the third time, Philip, and please look at it differently now than the way how I explained it in the previous two cases. You really needed to play d5. And the reason why it is really a topical and thematic move, because almost always when you get attacked on the wing, we counter strike as soon as possible in the middle or on the other wing. Now, A, there is no way for you to counter strike on the other wing, and B, there is no real target anything there that you could do, so you target the middle. And you will find that even if these moves actually seem like they are tactically refuted, like in this case g5, knight goes, and then we drop a pawn, you realize that they are actually not refuted, because on g5 we just play d4, forking these two dudes, and when they take us here, we just take it back, thank you very much, and the next move we are going to take one of those pieces and have a totally winning position.
Right.
Okay, so wing aggression is always met by aggression in the center, counterpunching in the center, especially when it's ridiculously early and very obviously junk. You can't attack like that when that's what you have at home. It's destined to fail. Okay, and sadly so is this. If anything, this encourages the attack. You are actually adding fuel to the fire, because this is basically yelling at him, please play h4 and g5. And then you won't be able to avoid opening up the h5, which is the only way how you can technically lose this game. So if you didn't see d5, which you clearly didn't, the logical way to continue this game would have been to play d6. And if g5, then drop the knight back. Bring it on. Yep. And then this knight goes in there, that knight goes in there. You have a very pretty scenario. h6 was really, really bad here and unnecessary. And from here on, the game took a very crazy turn, because, yeah, you will see. I would never ever touch this. They are attacking me here. They want to open files.
Okay.
Okay, don't do a thing over there. Put your stuff in the center. Okay, g5 is already coming at you, and it's very annoying, but if you are basically just accelerating his attack. Now, in this position, what he wants to do is to play g5 and bring the queen out to h5.
Yep.
So you look at how hardcore you stepped into it. Yeah, so now it's hitting you with a tempo, which is really painful, and you had no idea what was happening here to you, because you took it. Which is a horrific blunder, because now after queen h5 we can put the pieces back in the box.
Yeah.
So what it tells me is that when he played g5, you didn't quite comprehend what it was all about. The funniest part of this is, of course, that neither did he. Because when you took here, he took you back. Like, this is really a major comedy of errors here. Because after takes, queen h5 wins, and instead this genius decided to take you back.
Yep.
Okay, so we are both entirely speechless now, yeah? Okay, bishop takes queen h5. You here drop back here with the intention of blocking the h-file, but obviously it's not going to last too long.
No.
Because you can take it. Now we can actually force Philip here a favorable line, after which the queens will be off the board with an extra pawn to you. How can we do that?
Bishop takes and then the queen g5. I looked at this in the game.
And you decided against it because?
What did I do?
What you did definitely does not justify your decision. So it must have been something different. Because you played bishop h6 in the game, and after bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, which did not happen, your only move to avoid the inevitable mate is to play queen g5 check. Which leads us back to the same line exactly, minus a pawn here for you.
Yep.
So that doesn't justify it at all, because even after bishop h6, white can force the exact same variation under better circumstances for white. So I really don't know why you didn't swap queens here, especially not because you are getting violently attacked. Like crazy vicious attack is coming at you, and our favorite tool to disarm these attacks is to swap the queens off. Now the fact that this file is open is 100% totally irrelevant. It has got nothing to do how we evaluate this position. Right now, it does have a lot to do with how we evaluate this, because if you get mated here in the next two moves, then the fact that this square is weak is not really that important, is it? Once the queens are Gonski, the fact that this square and this square is horrendously weak is far more important than this file here. Okay, so bishop h6, take, and then he played knight f3, which was pretty clever because it prevented the check. What's your only move to survive the disaster here, Philip?
Sure.
Or let me actually put it even easier for you. What's the next move gonna be?
I imagine they're just gonna take on h6 and then
right. So queen takes h6. What are we gonna do against that? So let's just assume that we do like we copy him in his stupidity on that side, and they take here. What do we have here now, Philip? Can we survive this?
Didn't think so, because the knight blocks the swap.
Correct. We are absolutely 100% dead, aren't we?
Yep.
So from this, we gather that if queen takes h6 were to happen, we can offer a handshake and click new game.
Yep.
All right. So now your task is to prevent queen takes h6.
Okay. Yep. Fine. Queen f6.
Right. And all of a sudden, after a solid 15 seconds invested into the logical way of considering this position, we came up with a beautiful defending move, after which we are still heavily in the game. I don't know what logic led you to play this. Love pieces in the center. I'm just not getting how it's relevant to this threat.
Yeah, so the reason I did that, I didn't calculate well enough, obviously, but I wanted to trade off the knight on f3 so that I can chop off the queens.
Righto. Now, actually, this seems to me to be a bit of a blunder fest here, because after king c2, we actually have a way to dodge the mate.
Huh.
I take it you found it based on your
yeah, I did.
reaction.
So g5, wow, that's stupid. Okay.
And the game is over, but not quite the way how White wanted it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can still be cute and try bishop e2, rook g1 and the mate here based on the pin, but that's 3 moves. In 3 moves time, we are going to patch it up so spectacularly well that it's not even funny how badly they will be beaten. Like you can, for example, you can play f6, rook here and then queen here, and now mate is guarded, and then they can go home.
Yep.
That's just one of the many ways. Instead you went for a check, and then after this we had no remedy against the mate. Yep. That was a very sad end. Right, and I didn't quite get this far, but based on the spectacular checkmate you delivered, I'm very happy. And this is actually quite good chess, Philip. Release tension?
Yeah, maybe not.
Definitely not. When you played d5, you went like, I wish they took me.
Yep.
So why would you then take away the chance from them to be dumb? People do dumb stuff all the time. I mean, come on, look around. It's just... Think about some recent elections. But if you don't give them the opportunity to do dumb stuff, they won't. One of the the biggest problem in the world at the moment is that people sometimes have got too many choices, and they are so talented at finding the worst that they do it.
Yep.
So you need to have this on for your opponent to actually be able to make a mistake. Plus, it's also a major dilemma for them, because if you leave it floating and you do something like this just for the argument's sake to develop the bishop there, They might be very reluctant to play d6 at any stage because they will be concerned about you taking then, whereupon they can't retake with a pawn, and if they take back with the bishop, then knight d4 is going to attack this and that at the same time. So then they might entirely refrain from pushing this, which means that it will be very difficult for them to develop the queen side. Whereas this way, you basically set them on a straight path where they can't possibly go wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, they tried really hard still. I mean, going wrong. Oh my lord. What is this? I don't understand this move. And I'm a bit worried about this knight too, by the way. Like, if something like this were to happen, we have to regroup that way. But that's still okay. I would definitely try to develop my stuff now here. G3 doesn't seem to do much. And again, Philip, it's like they played H5. They try to do some stuff here. This offers them a giant opportunity to do something there. Now they have a target. I have no idea where this pawn is going if you leave these guys here. Like, this just seems to be so purposeless waste of time. Like, what is he doing there? There's nothing here, dudes. Chess is played here in the center, not here.
So humor me quickly. If he goes H4, H3, then I play G6.
Then you first try not to laugh very hard, and then you decide whether you want to push through or take it, or just ignore it entirely, because by then you have so many pieces out that you're just winning the game.
Right.
So yeah, ignorance is the best policy when you do that. Your opponent is doing something retarded. Whoa.
I think I should have taken that knight.
Yes, you should have.
What I did.
Yeah, bishop takes here and then drop back. Although structurally we are not looking good here at all because these two pawns are very vulnerable. And the f4 blundered this pawn right away.
Yeah.
So these are moves, Philip, that we really need to weed out of your play because it's just too generous. And isn't this hanging now? Like, I'm really confuzzled about what's happening here because none of these moves make any sense. This one blundered this pawn. He should have taken it. Instead, he blunders this pawn here. What's going on?
Yeah.
Mysteryland. I mean, I'm not holding you accountable for your opponent's stupidity. I'm just confused. Okay, so you went there. Now this one is hanging again. King f2, queen h4, knight g6. Good. Okay, did you realize that this is still hanging?
Yeah.
Because it's actually guarding there, so this is not pinned if you put the bishop on e4.
Right.
Or e0. Right, so queen g3, bishop takes, finally take, excellent. And now it looks like we are giving a mate. Whoopsies.
I don't think that was necessary.
I'm looking at this.
Yeah.
Check, checkmate.
Yeah.
That wasn't too hard, was it?
No.
No, I mean, granted, this is a check and a capture, so it's definitely a high priority move, but this just looks too nice to be true. And there is no way, Philip, that you should have ever played this move. And the punishment you are getting for it is that you need to tell me why it is a horrific blunder.
Because I think he has a draw now with queen f3.
Brilliant. Check. I'm gonna eat my hat if you tell me that you did not see it when you captured the bishop. That is not possible.
So difficult. Yeah.
So what did you consider then? Because you can't feel safe with a king like this, Philippe. So you literally must, you have to, you are obliged. I'm running out of verbs here to look at every single check to make sure that you get away with such a greedy move, especially considering that you actually still have a forced mate. Check. Or thereabouts.
I got really excited about after takes bishop. There's a mate in one, obviously. On
yes, but it's not your turn, Philippe. So it is perfectly relevant whether you have got 1 or 79 mate in one threats if they have got a perpetual check coming to your face. So this move, to execute this and to consider the consequences of taking this, would take approximately 3 minutes more than the consequences of this. Because literally, you can play this check without calculating anything at all. Because it's a check, you're safe, nothing can hurt you, your opponent's king is dancing in the middle of the board, there's no way that anything bad can happen to you. After queen d7, your king is totally naked, I have got X amount of super annoying checks, and you literally have to calculate them one by one to make sure that you win. So this is a very unpractical, sort of illogical, if you like, way of thinking about this position, because you give away all the trump cards you had, which was this forcing checking sequence to send this king into death. Right. Hopefully that was cruel enough or hardcore enough so that we won't do that again.
This, I think we looked at this game already. This was
no, I don't think so.
Like I didn't.
Okay, so a couple of things. If you want to play bishop d3, pawn h3 first is actually one of the main lines of the Benoni. I always tell you not to do these moves. Now here comes one of the exceptions. Because if you put it here, this bishop has nowhere to develop on this diagonal. And the reason for that is because this one is actually the knight's spot. Yeah. And so it creates a little bit of a difficulty for black to complete development well enough. Whereas if you allow that pin, yes, granted, he will have to give up the bishop for the knight, but now he has got a perfectly balanced development where he actually doesn't stand any worse by any means. Queen back, c4 back, and a6. What does this move tell you, Philip? It can tell you two things. Your opponent is an idiot, or he is up to something.
Yeah.
Is he up to something?
I'm not sure, like b5, push those pawns.
Right, so here is what your next question is. Does b5 concern you? Let's assume we play a total lemon to be able to judge this thing. Does it concern you?
No.
Okay. Does this concern you?
Not really. I'll have to move my knight, but I'll be to the king side where I'm probably going to attack anyway. So.
Okay. What I'm trying to say, Philip, is that it looks like a very logical way for black to build his position up, because he has got here 3 pawns versus 2. When you say it doesn't really concern you, I agree with you. Probably I shouldn't have asked it that way. Is it worth stopping? That is probably a better way to do to put it. Because the answer to that will be a definite yes, because if we do it, what is their other plan should this one fail? How else are they going to come at you? Because you have got a plan of kicking this one out, developing your bishop in the center, and kill them with e5. Yep. But what is their plan here, really? Whereas if you don't do that, then eventually b5 is going to happen. Now, whether it's good enough or not, I don't know. What I'm saying is that often it's well worth to waste the tempo on holding back that pawn avalanche right there. Okay. Isn't that hanging?
Yes.
Okay. Just asking. I would have preferred here something, Philip, like queen d2 followed by rook here to develop my full army and then get ready for e5.
Yeah.
Okay. Although it's not sound, but we need to learn this tactical trick, Philip, in case we haven't learned it yet. Knight, bishop takes, knight takes. See this knight here being unguarded? Unguarded pieces always attract the attention of a good tactician. Let me give you a clue. Look at this and look at this. How do we combine the two?
Queen h5.
Well, you find Queen h5 and we figure it doesn't work because knight g6.
Okay.
Chess would be too easy then. So how else could we exploit this?
Maybe bishop takes, and if
of course,
takes,
bishop takes and then queen h5. Now the reason why I'm not really pushing for it too hard is because in this position it's positively junk, because now we are left with a knight versus a very strong bishop that can gain immense power from here as well as from here. This pawn is more weak than strong, and the pawn avalanche is coming at us here too. But this is a motive that I'm fairly certain you didn't notice and probably didn't even know, so I felt it part of my job to point out to you, because in another game it might earn you an easy point. Rook f5, bd6, queen e2, rook there. Both parties are playing fairly decent moves here. Okay, I just needed to say it. Oh no, what's this for? So let me be the devil's advocate and ask you, what sort of improvement have we made by giving up this bishop for that knight?
Yeah, not a great deal.
None. Like, your approach was to play queen g4 here, which again shouldn't have been allowed, but even then I don't understand what it does. So I am afraid that we are lacking a plan here. I would like to attack this. So something like rook h5 seems to be a legit concept, but after g6 we don't really have enough here, and he's already threatening with jumps into d3, hitting our queen. So probably a more sober evaluation of the position would lead me to a decision like a queen here to move out of this and to allow me to come this way. Okay. Interesting moves. Wow. And he found that, for which I'm very happy. Well done. Alright. How are your puzzle solving going, Philip? How is it going?
So, the last 2 weeks I didn't really play. This is all I've played.
No, I'm asking you about the puzzle solving on the website that I showed you. Oh, you meant by not playing that you didn't have time to solve puzzles either?
No, I mean I've been doing like exclusively chess tempo stuff. Just
oh, chess tempo. Okay. How is that one going?
It's going alright. I discovered a feature: if you pay like $3 or something, you can do different puzzle sets. One of them is like mate in 2, mate in 3.
Oh,
so
okay.
Doing those.
Robbery. Nah, it's good. Mind you, I have got those mate in 2s and 3s on this website for you for free that I did show you a couple of times. Here, if you click on the mate in 2s and 3s and 4s, there is a fairly good section of it. But yeah. I suppose by going to Chess Tempo, you feel like you have it all in one place.
Yeah, and I can also sort of see my my daily variants, as it were. Like,
good. All right, we haven't done Philip endgames for a fair while, and I can already hear the excitement in your voice. So we are going to do just that.
Okay.
Does it sound good to you?
Yeah.
Yep, you don't have a choice. Unless you have got specific requests, by the way. But even then, I will be cruel. Alright, Philip. Here we go. I'm going to be super duper nasty to you. So what we are going to do here is, instead of me giving you this as a puzzle, I'm going to ask you at first, have a look at it. Why to move? Can you please give me an assessment of what you think is happening here? Gather your thoughts, take your time, and then let me know what you think is happening here. Yep, I'm all ears. I can't wait to hear.
Like we already messed up. I think it's in the center and ours is not.
Yeah?
I don't know how this happened.
Yeah,
We're
it's
in
very
trouble, I would
important.
imagine.
Probably the most important feature of the position. One of them, anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, pawn structure.
We both have issues.
Okay,
He's got double pawns.
name them, please. I like to know what's going on.
Okay, so according to me, he's got double pawns, which is not
Yep.
great in any game. But I have sort of hanging pawns, which is going to be not hanging in the
When you mean
position. So it's
hanging, do you
like,
mean that the king is attacking this pawn?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that is actually a tactical feature. That's not a structural one. We could claim that to be a coincidence.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, so
the double pawns, that is a structural feature. The fact that this is under attack, that's tactical.
yeah.
So you need to tell me though something about white's pawn structure, structurally. That is not right about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna struggle to find a way to defend everything. I think like I can.
I disagree with that. You put this pawn here and you guard it with the king, and everything is guarded. What I'm getting at, Philip, is that this is a rigid pawn structure. You can't push these pawns in such a way that they will be able to support each other. This is an ultimate failure. Imagine if this pawn was back here, I could push the other one up, get taken and then take back. You always like to have your pawns move in a unison when they can cover each other. I can never ever do that because as soon as I come here I will be taken and I can't take back with the pawn. That means that all of these pawns are going to be targets and this is going to be a rigid structure. Now that all, however, is irrelevant. If we do the right thing, white can actually win due to tactics. But before we get on to that, I would like to ask you to beat me with black after I play some silly moves. Okay? So, you call out your moves. You need to beat me.
Yeah. The most logical move, I think, should be d3, king d3. Sort of trying to get in there. Maybe king e4 now, attacking the central pawn and trying to get them out. Do I have tempo here? Have I lost already? Is that what you're saying?
No, you are totally winning here, Philip. Just because I'm playing fast moves, it doesn't mean I'm doing anything well. It means I'm playing fast moves.
Alright.
I don't understand how you could lose it from here as black, by the way. It would be very difficult. Okay, what would logic suggest?
I should try and win the pawn somehow, I think.
Right, Philip, you have got two legal moves. One makes no sense. Sorry, but I have to be cruel or blunt. So, yes, you have this and you have that.
Yeah, d5 as well.
Yeah, I mean, king d5 is not a move you would consider. d5, okay, I come here. What do we do? I'm being super kind to you because, again, I left you with two legal moves. One is, again, a total nonsense. The other one is full of logic. No pressure.
Not at all. Yeah, I'm struggling to see how we win this.
Don't worry about that yet. Just try to play the move that seems to make sense to you, and we are going to win it shortly after.
Alright. Sure. If I play...
You meant f3 or you meant d6?
No, so like if I play d6, you just go back and then...
and then what?
See. Then I'm in trouble.
So, that's not the word I was after, Philip, so let's talk about this for a second.
Okay. Oh. Yeah, wow. Is this... stalemate?
Yes, it is a stalemate.
Yeah.
Okay, so the obvious move is king f3. I go up here. What do you do?
I mean, legal moves are running low.
Now you have got plenty. We have increased the number to triple. No, 2.5.
F2, I think. King F2.
Alright, what will you do if I come back then here?
I'll go back.
Then I go back to you?
Yeah. This is the part that I was struggling with.
So let's try this one, Philippe, right? What do you think I'm gonna do as white?
D2.
Yeah? What do you think is the correct move for black now? Given that we already know that this one leads to a stalemate, I suggest you don't say that.
F2.
Very good. Can you already feel how it's going to be losing for white? Or we are still in the dark?
That's starting to get an idea, yeah.
Okay, so you tell me the rest of the game.
E1 now.
Ta-da!
That's the one I was missing. Okay.
Bingo! And now after king wherevs, all my 3 pawns, all of them without exception, are going to be captured.
Okay.
Not that they need to be captured, because once these 2 are gone, I just promote, but for the record, I'm telling you that they can drop. Regardless
it seems important here that we had a tempo with the pawn move.
Yes, the key to winning this as black from this position was the fact that you had in fact 2 tempos. You needed both. Okay, because at first you needed to eliminate here all nasty chances. Or rather, you needed to come in here immediately and after king up, win a crucial tempo now, and then another. Actually, the first move is more like fixing this so that e4 can't happen, and when they go back, we go there.
Yep.
Now, one very important thing, Philippe, that you may not have realized. Remember how we talked about opposition in the beginning of times when we started chess?
Yes.
Right. Now, if you have a keen eye for chess and chess geometry, you realize that these kings are in opposition.
Yeah, I did actually realize this earlier.
It is a horizontal one, not a vertical one, but this is just as important of a type of opposition as the horizontal one, because as long as white can keep it, you can't get the pawn. If you go there, I oppose. You go there, I oppose. You go there, there, I oppose. Not up there, because then king e1 wins. I oppose.
Right.
Okay? And so on. But after d6, now you won the opposition, and then, yeah, we just go up there and we win. Right, so that was the way how you won it against e3. How do you think we can make progress for white? And I'm going to give you a clue. You need very drastic measures. So from here on, it's not going to be this fiddly, beautiful, lovely positional play. It's going to be brute force.
Yeah, I considered playing king d2 here and just sacking the d4 pawn.
Yeah, I find it a little bit counterproductive, because after king takes d4 followed by king e4 and then d4, d5, I'm going to eliminate all of your pawns.
Right.
Because I'm nasty, Philip. No, I need even more aggression and more into my face kind of thinking, which is very unusual in pawn endings, but this happened to be the first example that popped in my head, so I decided to show it to you.
Okay.
I'm struggling with giving you meaningful clues, to be perfectly honest. You were sort of on the right track with the desire to lose pawns. You just need to select them wisely.
Alright. How about f2? Same pawn gets lost, but
yeah, and the game gets lost the same way too.
Okay.
So let's focus on a mobile pawn. Hopefully that was not too obvious clue.
Yeah. That makes sense. Okay, so you want to distract the king with e5 or this?
E4 more like. I don't want to distract the king, I want the queen.
Okay.
Now, because of I am nasty and mean and evil, from here on you talk. Black has got two sensible moves, here or here. You can pick whichever you like for starters.
Winning or...
I suggest to start with this because that will reveal to you the motif in its purest form.
Okay. White will take in this position, I believe.
Take on f5, yeah? What will Black do then?
Yep.
I'm going to make it harder for you by not playing out the moves.
King e5, and you can stop
King d5, I assume, is what you mean? Because King e5 is against the rules, yeah?
Yes, sorry.
So did you mean King d5? Or you didn't realize that it was a check?
Sorry, we're talking after
ef5.
F5, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah,
you said ef5
no.
followed by King e5. That's not happening.
Which is not illegal, yes, sorry.
No, that's alright. So what's Black's move after ef5?
Wow. E5 has to be.
I beg your pardon?
I think d5, King d5.
And who will catch this pawn then?
With this there. Does he not catch the pawn? Wow. Struggling to visualize this one.
You are. So I don't understand how you propose to get this pawn with this king now.
Oh, no, sorry. I meant king.
You didn't say it. You said d5. No, it's okay. Right, so king d5. Now I'm still not playing it out because I'm still very nasty. So ef5, king d5. What do we do?
Yes.
As white.
Bring your king up to support f4, I think, and try and promote him. Does that work?
What will Black do after that, Philip?
He will go to e6, attacking the pawn.
I very strongly believe that that's illegal again.
Yeah.
Takes, king here. You said king up.
Yeah.
I can't go there. It's covered by the white pawn.
Oh, sorry. I was one move ahead of this. I thought we pushed the f pawn again to f6.
That was not called. We said pawn here, king d5. I asked you what white would do. You said king up. I said fine. What will Black do? You said king there. I claimed it's illegal. I insist.
Yeah.
Okay, so once again, pawn takes, king up, king up. What will Black do? It's important that we visualize it. That's why I'm being so pedantic about it.
Yeah.
So once again, the ball is in your court. I take, you go up, I go up. What's happening?
Black. Okay. Wow, not a lot really. Do we go to e4?
Right, let's make it king e4. How will white win then?
King on e4. Wow. Yeah, white's in trouble now. We're probably gonna have to go to f2, king f2.
If I play out the position, Philip, you are going to facepalm yourself really, really hardcore.
Alright.
You said king here, right? That was your last move. Can you tell me where the white pawns are?
On f4 and f5.
So wouldn't you play f6 when the black king is here? And get a queen?
Right, yes, we should.
Are you clear on that one?
Yeah.
Okay, so for the last time I will throw this cruel question at you, that after takes king up, what will black do, or what can black do? If you tell me that we are doomed to death, I'm happy to accept that too, provided that you can justify it by A, proving me that you visualize the position, and 2, by telling me a line.
Takes king up. I'm not sure why we played king e2 in the first place.
Because I played the move that you suggested to play. I'm following 100% what you are saying. I really like your question. It's a very good question, and I will answer it. I promise I will, as soon as you tell me either an assessment or a line or something.
Okay, so
let's just accept for the time being that king e2 was right. It was.
Alright, so I'm just going to go through the line again. E takes f5.
Yeah, king up and king up.
King up. Yeah. So f6. One of 6. Black. Well, where does black go? He might go to e4. I don't see how he can stop that pawn, actually. Yeah, I don't see how he's stopping the pawn.
Okay, so basically we come to the conclusion, Philippe, that I was hoping to hear, that in this position it doesn't matter what black does, they can only ruin this position by moving to any of these squares, which means that this pawn promotes.
Yes.
Okay, if he could just say I pass, he would be fine, because white in this position has got 0 threats, because as soon as we go there, they catch us.
Yes.
So this is what we call a Zugzwang, when you have to make a move and it sucks. That's the definition that you find in chess books for Zugzwang, word by word. We must make a move and it sucks really badly.
Which is why you played king e2.
And now I reveal to you the big secret, that we could have literally played any king moves here on the face of earth. We could have gone here just as well, because the whole point was to just waste a move. It's extremely rare that you can just waste a move with literally anything in a pawn ending, but this is a unique case where the whole purpose is to let just black make a move, because whatever he does is worse. I would like to point out to you that without this pawn on d7, sorry, bear with me. What? Where the heck did that line come from? Okay, king d5, king e2. So if I remove this pawn from the board, it's actually a draw, because then the black king can go back this way and arrives on time. But the main drama with this position is that here I technically should be able to get into the square of the pawn, which is this. We know the square theory.
Yep.
Because wherever my king is within this square, I will catch up with you. But I can't, because my own pawns are blocking the way. Without this pawn here, it's a dead draw. But it sucks very badly that we have that pawn. And here comes the biggest drama about this position, Philippe, that after e4, which is the correct move, and I shall promote it to main line, if they take, what do you think we do? Be brave.
Yeah, I was just trying to calculate line. What happens if you play f5?
Well, that seems to be our only move, yeah? Because any other case, they take this and easily catch up. So f5, they're going to go here. What will we do then?
F6, but then he can... He gets to e6 as well, stuck.
So maybe not f6 then. Then what? Did you pick up some similarity between this and the previous position, perhaps?
Yeah.
Alright, do tell, please.
Nothing stops him from going to e5, though. Nothing I do.
What do you mean? e5 is covered by a pawn.
Sorry, nothing stops it going from b5.
That is correct, but that didn't seem to stop us to win from winning the game in the previous line. I don't understand why this move concerns you. Was it a problem in this variation?
Well, he couldn't go to e6 here.
No, he couldn't. Well, can he go to e6 here? I don't see how he can go to e6. Why does it make a difference, Philip, whether this pawn is here or here?
Okay, doesn't.
None whatsoever. So what do we do?
Right, okay, so any king move is fine.
Bingo. Well, we have to be a little bit more careful because they have got now a pawn to fiddle with, but as soon as we destroy it, we are back in the same scenario. It totally doesn't matter whether this pawn is here or here. They both cover the crucial important e5 square, which means that eventually they will die. So paradoxically enough, here again, well, actually every king move wins here. And even this one is really cruel because now we physically stop the pawn, it can't move, so the king has to make a move, and wherever it goes, it will give way to the pawn.
Sure.
Okay, so what's gonna happen, Philip, now is that I'm going to give you a bucket load of these that I would like you to solve.
Right.
So what I would like you to do, if you don't mind me proposing this, is that we will have your chess tempo time. Can you give me a rough figure of how much time you would spend on chess tempo on a weekly basis?
Maybe like an hour a day. So
an hour a day. Okay, so that means to me that we spend a lot of time on chess, which is beautiful. And far from me from wanting you to not do tactics, but at the moment, the idea with doing tactics for you, Philip, is that we develop your pattern recognition, because the more you see, the more you will remember and be able to re-employ in your games. And number two, to improve your visualization of the pieces. And for the latter, these exercises are far better because there are a lot fewer pieces on the board. And without wanting to sound like a total douchebag, you yourself must have experienced that it wasn't going too smoothly.
Yep.
So the best way to fix it is to actually solve pawn endings like these, because they develop your calculating ability and your visualizational skills as well. Okay, so what's going to happen is I'm going to send you a chess-based file. I'm going to chuck in like 20 plus pawn endings there. Okay, what you need to do there is that when you open up chess-base, and I'm going to try to do it now. It's not.
Assume you use the training tab then.
That's exactly right. So what I want you to do is to just click on the training tab. I didn't manage to bring it up on the recording screen now, but it doesn't matter. So there will be a file here. You will already see the winning moves here. So make sure that as soon as it comes up, you just click on training. And actually, if you do that, and then instead of escaping the puzzle by clicking on the red cross and opening up the next, if you press F11, or depending on what version of chessbase you use, it might be F10, then it jumps onto the next without revealing the solution.
Okay, awesome. I'll do that.
Okay, and I would like to ask you to do something. It's crucially important. So please do this. Write the solution down and keep that piece of paper for me. Best is if you just grab a book and just start from scratch and apply the same. Well, you can't do it at chess tempo, it's not really necessary, because there you face the consequences of your correct or incorrect moves because the computer immediately tells you. But my point is that I want you to see your moves when I go through with it, go through them with you, that in this position you actually suggested king e3, and why wouldn't you go there, just for the sake of an example. So that is a way to give feedback to you and to me as well where things are going wrong.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yep, that's good.
All right, so let's do that. And that will set us on our path to 1800 by the end of July.
Sounds hopeful.
Sounds like I'm not ambitious enough, but I'm not a greedy man.
Cool.
Alrighty, Philip. I hope that you found it useful. I'm very grateful for you allowing me to upload, to record this lesson, which I will stop now, the recording that is.